Today I'm teaching you how to fill out your 1040 to file your own taxes, okay? But in order to do that, you need to understand your W-4. Okay, now on every job, when you start a job, you get a W-4. You'll get a new one on every single job. It's not transferable. So on every job, you'll have to claim your W-4 even if you're making the same claim exemption, okay? So you're going to get this. You're going to get this W-4. It's going to come with the general instructions attached. This is for your records, okay? This is all you're responsible to complete. This is all you're responsible to fill out. And what I really want to tell you about this, okay, because this is a powerful tool, okay? And a lot of people don't understand the tool. And a lot of people do, and they mishandle it. So I want to talk about it. See, now W-4 controls your employees' withholdings, okay? It's a employees' withholding certificate. That's the formal name for the W-4, right? Basically, they use your whatever you claim on here, your potential exemptions for your next year filing, okay, to make calculations and to tax your paycheck as you go along. No one knows the exact pay amount that you're going to make. You work wages, you work hourly, so they're calculating. It's an estimate, right? And they're basing it off of what you say you're going to claim next year for your taxes this year. So you're telling them, I'm going to potentially claim single, okay? And because this is the audience I'm speaking to, people who are filing single, not married, filing joint, not head of household. I'm potentially speaking to, like, this can relate to a head of household, but I'm speaking to filing single parties, okay? So for your W-4, you will be saying that, yeah, I'm going to file single. And hold on now, because I already did the video showing you how to go to irs.gov and pull up a W-4 and look at and fill it out, right? But I couldn't hear myself and my mic isn't working. So I wanted it to face me to make sure that you were hearing me clearly. I know it works better this way. Anyway, yes, you're going to put single, right? And here's the part and where the tool comes in and where it kind of varies depending on the job, okay? Because I've been on multiple jobs where what you file on your W-4 cannot be changed for the rest of the year, and you can only change it a certain period of times of the year. Then I've been on jobs where I was able to change my W-4 online myself anytime I wanted to, and a lot of jobs are like that now, okay, where they have these like online platforms where you do all your human resource type things, and you can handle it yourself and make the request on there yourself, and it's all automated now. So for that reason, a lot of people, you may be aware of it, and a lot of times it applies in jobs where you have incentive-based jobs and other jobs too, but that's where it really applied for me, because when you get incentive, they tax your incentive as a gift, and when they tax it as a gift, they're automatically taxing it at a higher tax rate. When I was getting taxed, it was getting taxed at 40%. It could easily be more than that now. I didn't check it. That's why I don't want to say that's what it is now, because tax laws change every year, so you would have to verify that. But I know for sure that if you get an incentive check, it's going to be taxed as a gift. It's not going to be taxed as a wage. It's going to be taxed at a higher tax bracket. And so because of that, a lot of people in the collection game know about the W-4 game. Okay, and the W-4 game is turn off your taxes when you expect an incentive check, so that that check doesn't get taxed as hard. And the thing about it is, if you can calculate it properly like I did, you don't end up owing in a deficit. But a lot of people end up doing that and do not turn their taxes back on. Okay, turn it back on by re-updating their W-4 so the taxes will resume and end up not paying it for the rest of the year. Trust me, I've seen people do this. Not me. I didn't end up owing. Okay, but I know people who've ended up owed repeatedly. Okay, for this reason. Because, like, and it's the thing is that they did it, forgot to update their W-4, and then it put them in a deficit so bad that they were rebounding for a few years. It took a few years to catch up with themselves because of that deficit they put themselves in. Okay, and so I'm telling you this with wisdom. Like, do this with wisdom. Me personally, when I file my W-4, I do it with the intentions for it to remain that way. If I have to make a change, it's because I really need to make a change, and I know what I am doing. Know what you are doing when you are updating your W-4. Okay, now, when you're claiming zero, and you're going to, like, the reason why I say that is because as a young person, you can put exempt. You could just not fill it out, and I'm going to show you that after the video is going to have a part where I'm going to show you the different parts of the form and not just the paper. But I'm making reference now, like on here, on this part here, you skip that and just go down to the bottom and click, because online you're going to click it, but you check that box, and that box says exempt from withholding. Okay, if you're a young person, you're not making much money. You're working at a fast food joint. You're not working over part-time. Okay, you're working less than part-time. You understand? And you don't see the point in paying taxes out of your paycheck. You don't have to. And they don't expect you to. When you're making such little money, you can check exempt so the taxes don't come out of your check. Okay, you shouldn't be liable for anything if you're making such little money. Now, if you are going to make over $10,000 for a year, honestly, let's say between $8,000 and $10,000 for the year, because you could check that number with a professional. But let's say you're going to make a certain amount of money over the year and you want to pay your taxes, your expected taxes, because you suspect that you may owe something you don't even know, but you don't want to owe. Because that was the thing with me. I don't want to get owed. Like, I don't want to owe. I don't be the one ended up owing. I'd rather they owe me. Okay? I'd rather they owe me. Okay? And so, for those of you who would rather them owe you, you got two options here for them to end up owing you. As a single person, if you claim no dependents whatsoever, 0, which is what most of you should do. If you're not out of high school, okay, you should not be claiming anything on your W-4. Okay? You should either be exempt or claiming 0. Okay? And you should be filling it out and such. And I'm going to show you how you do that. Okay? You put 0, 0, 0. Okay? And then you sign. And what they're going to do is tax you at the highest taxable liability for you, for the amount of money you make. Okay? And at the end of the year, you'll get your W-2. And your W-2 will show you how much money they withheld. Okay? And in most cases, the money in that box on the W-2 that shows federal withholdings, okay? I don't remember the number of the box, but it's up at the top or along the bottom. Because all the W-2s come in different formats, depending on the job, the entity. As long as it has the substantial information within the form, it is a valid document, and they all come in different forms. Okay, but everybody's responsible. Every employer is responsible for delivering you one by the 31st of January. Okay, they are responsible for doing that. They are charged with it. They have a duty to make sure you get that document, a physical document. Okay, unless you've opted out to get something online and they have something where that says that, well, you opted for that. What are we talking about again? Okay, now, 0. If you claim 0, they're going to tax you at the highest. You get your W-2. Okay, and you can potentially get all the money that shows up on that W-2 in that box. Okay, by filing your taxes. Okay, if not all of it, a good portion of it. Okay, especially when you're filing it yourself, so you don't have to worry about any filing fees. Okay, and if you choose to do it by mail, I know that like made you cringe, but it's a stamp. I'm just saying there's people who still like the mail. Okay, I do e-file. I do, but sometimes you just need to know how to do everything. Okay, and I just want to make sure somebody knows that the mail still works for these things. Don't feel imprisoned to Wi-Fi. Okay, you can get forms at the library for free. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm skipping over the W-4. Okay, because we're stressing the W-4. We're doing this W-4 because it's so important. It's so important. People don't stress this enough. And I've never been on a job with a set of other people who are new hires with me and not been in the presence of somebody who had a question about this damn W-4. Okay? So 0. And the calculations say you put 0 for 3A, 0 for 3B, and 0 for 3, and 0 all the way down, and then sign. If you want to go exempt, you don't have to fill out the zeros. You just click the box, exempt, and sign. Okay? Now, if you want them to moderately tax you, not tax you at the highest, but moderately tax you, okay, because you know you're going to make a decent amount of money, but you also know that you take care of yourself, and you're going to be claiming yourself, okay, next year. You know you're going to be claiming yourself next year, okay? You claim single, and then you put 0, because you don't have, for 3A, you put 0, because the first line is for children, like people like children that you've had, right, offspring. And then 3B is where you would count yourself, where it says other dependents. That's where you would count yourself. And then you would count yourself as one dependent and multiply it by 500 and put $500 in 3B. Okay, then on the final line for 3, you put $500. All right, then for 4A, 4B, 4C, you just put 0, 0, 0 again. Okay, for other income deductions. This is other stuff that this is not for the audience I'm speaking to. The audience I'm speaking to will not have these things. Okay, I'm speaking to young people, single people, young people, single people, with no dependents, with only wage income. Okay, only. So you're only receiving a W-2, and it could be multiple W-2s. Okay, it could be multiple W-2s. Okay, having multiple W-2s doesn't make it harder for you to do your taxes. Don't be intimidated by how many jobs you might have had thinking you can't do your taxes. If it's only W-2s you're working with, that's the only thing you need to be worried about. Because now, where it gets complicated is when you have various forms of income. Okay, capitals, and dividends, and other forms of income, IRAs, and other forms of income, Social Security income, just other forms of income. Okay, and people who own property. Okay, and who are itemizing their deductions and not using a standardized deduction. I'm speaking to single people who are going to be using a standard deduction, okay, on their 1040, which is what is the next video will be concerning. Filing the 1040, filling out the 1040. But what this video is concerning right here is your W-4, okay, which will impact your taxes directly. Okay, and again, is a tool that can be used if you are tax savvy. If you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. Okay, guys? Okay? If this video does well, I'll add a link to my website where you can access this information easily also. Right now, I provide other free resources for other tools on my website on willfamlaw.com. There's a link on my bio. So please feel free to check the website out for all those free resources. All it requires is an email. Let's connect. You know what I'm saying? And again, the next video to follow will be how to file your 1040. Okay, I hope I covered everything with the W-4. I'm not going to do this over. I kind of want to be a little casual. This is how I am. Okay, this is how I am. So, this is your W-4. We're going to follow up with that 1040. I'm going to attach this next video where I'm going to show you on the computer how I pulled it up and how to fill it out. Okay, I'm not certain if I'm going to do a talk over or what. I'm going to try, y'all. I'm going to try. First name, last name, social, address, city and state, single, multiply the number of qualifying children under the age of 17, and 0. 0 times anything is 0. Multiply the number of other dependents. If you want them to take out the highest amount of tax, you'll put 0 here. It'll all come down to 0 here. All of this is 0. Sign. If you want them to take out and claim yourself now, if you're claiming yourself as a dependent and you want them to take out the amount as if you will be claiming yourself on next year's taxes, here you want to say Qualifying children is still 0. Here, multiply the number of other dependents by 500. Here you're going to put 500. That's going to total to 500. These are still going to remain at 0. Sign. When you want to turn your taxes off, it don't matter what. When you want to turn your taxes off, you can leave these blank and just click here. And sign. And don't have to fill out anything here. Okay, now I'm showing you this because this is what you get. This is what you're used to seeing, the form. They give you the instructions. This is for your records. All you're responsible for filling out is this one sheet. This one sheet. Same thing. This is what you're looking at here. Same thing.